How y'all doing? It's Rob Bum, aka Preacher Man R&D, and the Snow episode of Ritual TV 901. This time I'm doing another Christmas classics. This time I'm reviewing the Polar Express, and this is going to be the last Christmas classics I do this year. And what the Polar Express is, it's about this kid, and he doesn't believe in Santa, so he falls asleep, and he got woke up by a train. And he goes out to see what the train is, and the conductor tells him all aboard, and he decides to get onto the train. And he's sitting in the train, and the conductor asks for everybody's tickets, and he pulls out a ticket out of his pocket that he didn't know he had, and the conductor puts BE on his ticket. And what happens is they go on to the next stop, and there's this poor kid, and he doesn't want to get on the train, and then the train starts leaving, and he tries to run down and catch the train, and the kid that this movie's about stops the train and lets the poor kid onto the train, and he goes and sits into a car by himself, and they go on their way to the North Pole. And what happens is this little girl, she lost her ticket, and the boy is trying to get a hold of her that way he could give her a ticket, but he loses it on the way to try to catch her, and it flies off, and then somehow it comes back to the train and comes back to where the boy and all the kids are sitting. And the conductor says the little girl has to go with him, so they walk to the front of the train, the roof of the train, and the little boy follows in behind them when he finds the ticket again, and he's on top of the train all by himself, and he is trying to wake up because he thinks he's dreaming, and then an angel that protects the train comes and saves him and gets him to the front of the train before he gets hit by the head of this tunnel that they got to go under. And that he's in the front of the train now, him and the little girl, and the conductor and the other guy who works on the train trying to put a light on in the front of the train because the light went out. Well, they told the little girl all the levers and what they did or whatever, and they had to stop whenever they get the light on because there was a bunch of caribou in front of the train. So the little boy is trying to find out what the brake is, and he asks the girl, "Are you sure?" And then he believes the little girl and pulls the brake just in time before they ran into the caribou. And they try to get the caribou off the track, and the way they do this is they pull one of the conductor's beards, and he starts making the caribou noise, and all the caribou move out the way. And the Polar Express goes on, and they go to a patch of the train tracks that's covered in ice. They lose control, and they're trying to get back in control, and the ice is breaking. So they get in just in time to get back on the tracks. Then they go down the steep hill, and or they went down the steep hill before this or whatever, and it's kind of like a roller coaster, and they barely make it into the pin in time to slow it down or whatever. And then they make it to the North Pole, and when they make it to the North Pole, the little boy, the little girl, and the little poor kid, they go on their own little journey, and they find the Naughty and Nice Center, and then they find Santa's bag, and they find the little poor kid's Christmas present. And then they're riding in the bag to the sleigh, and the elves tell them to get out of the bag whenever they make landing or whatever on the sleigh, and then Santa Claus comes, and then Santa Claus chooses the little boy who is the main character in this movie for the first Christmas gift, and the little boy chooses the bell on Santa's sleigh after he rings it, and he believes it's Santa, so he can hear the bell ringing or whatever. And then they all go home, and the little boy lost the bell before he left the North Pole, and he's bummed out about that. And then he gets home, and Santa leaves the bell and the present for him, and says that this was on the seat of my sleigh. Get that jacket pocket fixed. And that's all that really happened on this Christmas special. Y'all never watched the Polar Express? What did y'all like about it? As always, Christian and Army sign out. That's the Ross. The next Retro TV 901. Thanks.